So just to reiterate, we are doing a little September adherence challenge. So 5 points for every workout you complete, 5 points every time you hit your nutrition goals, 5 points every time you hit a PR, and complete a habit, like
Okay.
complete one of your daily habits. I think that's everything. So yeah, at the end of the month, whoever has the most points, the frequency app will already automatically do it for you. You should be able to see it just right on your home screen. Brooke, I think I have to add you to the challenge, so you'll be able to see that tomorrow. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Juliana is here. Wait, this is so cute. Let me take a little selfie of everyone first. How fun. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh, why does it do that? That's so embarrassing. These damn balloons. Okay, yay. All right, so that's the challenge. I don't think there's anything else really to announce, anything crazy going on. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so I feel like I changed the name of this call like 4 different times because I could not figure out like what to call it. So we're gonna go over appetite, cravings, and hunger. And then under the category of hunger, we're gonna be going over there's 4 types of hunger. So we're kind of going over a bunch of different things. So we'll start off with that. We'll start off with the 4 types of hunger. One is practical, so practical hunger, physical hunger, emotional hunger, and then taste hunger. So I'll be going and diving into all 4 of these. And I think this is really beneficial. I think this is kind of like one of those, I like to call it like the language that your body speaks and being able to kind of speak the same language of your body. And I'm sure that you guys will probably resonate with all 4 of these, or maybe at least 3 of them. And then I think being able to decipher these will be a really beneficial skill to have for the rest of your life. This is also something that's really helpful to like preventing binge eating or any kind of like eating disordered vibes, honestly. So this could be really helpful for the long term as well as like within your fitness journey. So practical hunger, this is number 1, baby. Okay, so this is most important. This is really what we are preaching about throughout your time at Frequency here. This is what prevents binges. So having practical hunger is something that is like when you're anticipating hunger. So like planning ahead, meal prepping, understanding, like being like, okay, if I know I'm going to dinner tonight and I'm going to have this and that, blah, 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 or I know I'll be out all day. So this could look like packing snacks, sticking to structured meal times, which is so important. I'll dive deeper into that. And an example is like if you're going on a boat that day, I'm going to have an extra big nutritious breakfast, even if I'm not hungry, like in the moment. So I'm gonna have an extra big nutritious breakfast because I know I'll be on a boat all day, or I know I'll be walking a lot, or whatever it is. I'm also gonna pack some snacks and then have some idea for dinner. Maybe have something like prepped at home, or if I know I'm going out, look at the menu ahead of time, that sort of thing. So having a plan, practical hunger. And I also just like to point out that like even if you're not hungry, and I think that is like such a big thing that like takes way too long throughout, someone's fitness journey is they are really just relying on physical hunger, which I'll get to number 2. And of course we do want to like listen to our body, but this like the practical hunger is so important to be able to plan ahead and have some logic behind it and not just be at the whim of like, oh, I'm hungry, I'll eat. Oh, I'm not hungry, I'll skip breakfast. And then there's really no structure. The biggest thing is that your appetite is trained, which I'll also get into. So physical hunger, I'm sure we've all felt this. This is when your stomach is growling. This is when you're feeling hangry. You're going to bite your boyfriend's head off if you don't eat right now. This is probably when it leads to overeating or feeling like so full or so stuffed right afterwards. This is also when your brain subconsciously hyperfixates on high calorie items. So this is when it's like all of a sudden I'm craving pizza. I will do anything for a Chipotle bowl right now. You've probably just gotten to the point of like being too deep into physical hunger that your subconscious brain knows I am seeking out a high calorie thing right now. So listen to these cues, right? We definitely don't want to ignore them. So when they come, eat a big meal, but we don't really want to have that like insatiable, not insatiable, like that insane, like stomach growling, I'm starving. We want to again be focusing on that practical hunger, have some kind of game plan, try to prevent this because this is when we overeat or we act out of cravings or just kind of like a binging moment. Emotional hunger, again, probably something that you have dealt with before. This kind of looks like the post-breakup ice cream vibes, right? Like after a breakup, or eating low quality foods on a day because you're sad and you deserve it. This also can look like the opposite. So I'm stressed out, so I'm not eating, or, I'm restricting myself, whether that's conscious, or unconscious, of kind of like a self-harm in a way. There's plenty of ways that we self-harm, and restricting your food source is absolutely one of them. It's like it's just as crazy as, any kind of self-harm. So letting your emotions dictate what you eat, the food quality. I also want to point out this second bullet point. I feel like it's such like an oxymoron. Eating low quality foods that make you feel like shit because you deserve it. It's like this like play on words. It doesn't even make sense. Like, why would we, try to treat ourselves with something that makes us feel like shit? So remembering that what your body deserves and what makes you feel good and happy and nourished is usually high quality foods. Of course, you can have low quality foods and fun foods and treats in moderation. This also can look like trying to find happiness through eating. That's a big thing that I found, through a time in my life when I was really sad or depressed or just didn't have much going on. I didn't feel like I had, much direction in life or whatever. And I was trying to find happiness through food, like that hit of dopamine that you absolutely do get, right? Like when you have a yummy bite of ice cream or a whole pizza or whatever, you absolutely do get a big hit of dopamine. And that's okay every once in a while. But if that's your main source, if that's how you feel happiness, definitely not very helpful. So I definitely have a list of separate coping mechanisms that are not food that you go to first. Sunshine is a really good one. So like going outside on a walk, or just going to a park, or taking a lap around the block, whatever. Stretching, that's like my favorite. That's really what yoga did for me. Yoga became this like source of dopamine where I didn't have to, burn myself to the ground or go do this like crazy intense workout, but instead I just got into my body, doing some really mindful breaths. Journaling is also a good one. If you are noticing that you're eating out of any kind of emotion. Sometimes when I'm stressed, I crave like the really crunchy chips, right? And think about like what emotion that is like replicating. Like, I'm stressed, my heart rate is up, I'm like fidgeting, and then I want crunchy, 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 right? It's kind of like replicating that. Or if I'm sad, I'm depressed, I want a warm brownie, I want soft ice cream. So it's like those random, cravings for food. If you're feeling a strong emotion, try to notice like a correlation of what emotion are you feeling, and then what food are you craving. And I would recommend journaling because there's obviously something that's unprocessed. And I also always think that if something like that is happening, it's your body, you're trying to get in your body. You're trying to feel a sensation. You're trying to get out of your head. So get out of your head by doing, journaling, meditation, yoga, stretching, ways to get into your body, instead of just kind of like overstuffing yourself or eating yourself, or, eating yourself to oblivion or starving yourself. And then the fourth phase or type of hunger is taste hunger. So simply wanting to eat food just because it looks good or just because it smells good. This absolutely happens to me. Like, I don't know, there's some, fitness ladies who they love to watch like food porn. They love to look at Instagrams that have these huge brownies and lots of M&Ms. If I look at those, I literally instantly am like, you know what I want right now? A brownie with M&Ms and ice cream on, so like noticing of like, okay, wow, I literally have a physical sensation just based off of what I saw or just what I smelled, or I was, completely full and satisfied, but then somebody brought in cupcakes at work. So again, just being able to be like, okay, am I physically hungry? Is it an emotional hunger? Is this just because I see it? This also, and again, maybe somebody brought in cupcakes into the office. Check in with yourself. Has it been more than 3 hours, sometimes even closer to 2 hours, since you've had a real meal? So I first go for that, and the same that happens even just in my own house. If you work from home, like, I'll be in the midst of working in this workflow, and then suddenly like all I'm thinking about is the chocolate in my pantry. I'm craving the chocolate in my pantry. So the first thing that I want to do is go to that, but then, stop and think, okay, should I actually have a meal first? Let me eat and make a real meal with salmon and rice and zucchini, which is my staple meal. Eat that first, and then let me have the chocolate afterwards. So just make sure that's not the first thing you go to if you are experiencing the taste hunger. And again, allow yourself to have the food, just add nutrients to it, whether that's having a full meal beforehand, or, for example, if you're craving chocolate, have some of that chocolate and Greek yogurt and honey. So you're getting nutrients, protein, probiotics from the Greek yogurt, you're getting real sugar from the honey, and you're allowed to have that chocolate, because if you are you just want to pair it with nutrients essentially, and you want to make sure that that craving gets satisfied. And usually it's just coming from some malnourishment of some sort, whether you are literally just hungry for real food or there's a nutrient that would be really beneficial. Okay, we're gonna switch gears to cravings and appetite. Okay, this is so obnoxious, but this is very me, and I would not do this unless I was really trying to prove a point to get it across. Okay, so what is going to prevent cravings and regulate your appetite? Protein. Holy shit. Literally, I think that's the biggest thing. Oh my God, I have no appetite, or, I'm just so stuffed, or whatever it is, or I'm just craving so many sweets. I craved McDonald's all week, blah, 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 blah. You probably just have not had enough goddamn protein. Sorry if that is like offensive to anybody, but seriously, eat protein, okay? That's going to regulate your appetite. It's going to regulate your cravings. And why is that? Is because blood sugar. The next thing is meal timing. So those two things, protein and meal timing. Again, if you're skipping breakfast a couple days a week or all days a week, and then you tell your coach, I'm just not hungry for breakfast. I don't wake up hungry. That's because your meal timing has been trained. Your appetite has been trained. Okay. So I have woken up every single morning for like 4 years now and had a breakfast first thing in the morning. So now I wake up and I will always have breakfast first thing in the morning, right? My appetite has been trained. So just remembering that your appetite is trained and your cravings are regulated through your blood sugar, which is regulated by protein. So again, on this topic, just protein and meal timing, what they do is it lowers blood sugars. So if you have high blood sugar, which is what's happening if you're having lots of sweets or if you're having poor sleep. Poor sleep is a huge contributor to high blood sugar, which is why sleep is so important. Why does my fitness and nutrition coach care about how well I slept last night? How does that matter? Well, you could literally test your blood sugars the next morning, and your blood sugars are going to be through the roof if you had poor sleep or just not enough sleep the night before. And then that's going to affect your appetite all through the next day. That's when you're going to be craving, just low quality foods, lots of, greasy or sweet things or whatever. So making sure that you're having enough protein, ideally about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is a relatively healthy spot to be. About 30 grams of protein per meal, and then sticking to meal timings. I know I have my breakfast every morning around 8 or 9 a.m. I have my second meal around noon or 1, third meal around like 4 or 5, and then a fourth meal around like 7 or 8. So I know that in it, and you train your body to, to turn into like a clockwork thing. So try to kind of get rid of the whole, I'm just not hungry at these times. Stick to meal timing and stick to high protein if you are experiencing any appetite issues, feeling like insatiable hunger, or just having a lot of cravings. Consistent meal timing will train your appetite, as well as just like high amounts of not only whole foods, like, fruits and veggies, of course, but just high food or whole food proteins. So, not relying on protein powders or protein bars. You could throw those away. I don't know why that's the first thing everyone's like, oh, I'm going to start being healthy. Here, I'm going to buy this protein powder and protein bars. That you might as well truly just buy a Snickers bar. You'll be way more satisfied. Just get your whole foods or get your protein from Whole Foods. All right, that is it. Thanks for letting me rant. Perfect timing, 8:14. Any comments, questions, concerns, anything that hit? Wow, what a group we got. So exciting. Thanks for the heart, Megan. How cute. Miss Deborah. Yeah, sleep and blood sugar correlation is cool. I think so too. Yeah, very interesting. I actually literally did blood work maybe last week. And the night before, I didn't have the best sleep, just went to bed way too late, woke up really early to do the fasted blood work. And then my blood sugars were high, which I thought was very interesting that I literally saw that direct correlation immediately. Cool. Anybody else want to jump in before we head out? Any comments on the challenge? No? All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you, guys. Oh, does somebody want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I like that you said that about getting your protein with Whole Foods instead of with like protein bars and protein cookies.
Totally. Yeah. It makes such a big difference. Those, it's just full of random ingredients. It's full of artificial sugars. You're going to end up craving more sweet stuff after that. Might as well have the real thing.
Yeah, I find myself eating like the three, like instead of just like one protein cookie, I'm like, wait, that was good. Maybe I should get more protein and then eat another one and then another one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas if you just literally had a real chocolate chip cookie, you'd probably be way more satisfied.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, good point. All right, cool. Thanks for participating, you guys. Thanks for showing up, and I'll see you next week. Love ya. Bye.
Bye.